Hi and welcome to this Blueberry Markets video update with me, John Kibler, head currency analyst. In this video we're going to go over the Forex market wrap. We're going to highlight some of the news that we discussed this week as well as some of the charts. So I'm going to dive straight in, and we can see here on the news we had lots of high impact data once again this week. So I'm just going to talk you through what happened here. Now the week kicked off with US CPI, and we saw that CPI came in lower than expectations, especially the month-on-month and year-on-year. Core CPI came in line with expectations, but this really helped fuel that US dollar weakness that we saw at the start of the week. We also saw the FOMC meeting minutes which followed that. In that we saw that the Federal Reserve members, or the FOMC members, did discuss a potential pause in rate hikes, and they also discussed their concerns over the banking crisis. We then had the Bank of Canada rate statement as well. They held interest rates at 4.5%, and they have also stated as well that they will help the banking system. We did have some talks from the Bank of England Governor Bailey. He basically said that the banking system was well funded and supported, and that this will potentially open the door for further rate hikes because UK inflation is still up at the highs at 10.4%. So the Bank of England will really have to potentially hike interest rates further to try and fight that ongoing inflation. Moving on to the strength meter then, so I just wanted to highlight what was going on from, or what we were looking at going into this week from a currency strength point of view. Now, last Thursday, I believe it was, we talked about the CAD strength coming back into the market, and we identified a nice little pattern on dollar CAD. And if you watched that video and you saw that pattern play out, then you can continue to look for potential CAD strength to come into the market, or traders are looking for that CAD strength to potentially continue. We also looked at the stronger currencies. Pound was one of those getting stronger, but what really kind of pointed out to us was the fact that the New Zealand dollar was getting weaker. So we tried to identify that this week and tried to take advantage of that. So Kiwi was one of those ones that performed pretty well in terms of that weakness. So we're just going to go over to some charts of interest. Euro dollar played out pretty much as we expected this week. We were talking about longs in and around this area here. We had trend line support running through. We had horizontal support coming in at around about the 1.0840. Prices rallied, and our targets were the 1.100 area. I like the idea of price heading to the 1.100. I actually talked about a potential break above this high. Let me just change the color of that pen, because that's not easy to see. We actually talked about this break of this high in here and a failure. That looks to be like what we're getting at the moment. So if this failure holds here, on a technical point of view, price could come back down into the trend line support here. Going on to pound, so I actually thought the pound would reject a bit further, maybe even break below the 1.23 handle. I was concerned that price would fail above the 1.2450. After the Bank of England's comments, it looked like we were going to be heading up to the 1.2650 handle, but that doesn't seem to have been followed through at all. Instead, price rejected the 1.25 handle, and we've actually formed quite an aggressive bearish engulfing candle today. And again, we're getting a potential close below that weekly high of the 1.2450. So that could be something to consider going into next week. Is that dollar strength starting to come back slightly? And if it does, can pound US dollar potentially trade to the downside? We'll have a little look at that when we go into next week's trading. Going on to Aussie US dollar then. So Aussie US dollar an interesting market as well. We expected price to stay below the 0.6700 area. Price didn't really do that. Instead, it's kind of forming like another new range between sort of the 0.68 area just in here and that low, the 0.6575. 0.6700 at the moment, it looks to be being sort of ignored. So we may have to pull that level out now, because Price just seems to be going through it and back through it on the other side, so it doesn't seem like it's holding its strength there. So we may have to get rid of that one and focus on the sort of more recently formed highs, but that could see price come all the way down to the 0 spot 65.75 if we were to see significant dollar strength. Moving on then, so let's go on to the New Zealand US dollar. We can see that the New Zealand US dollar was on our list this week because we rejected the 0 spot 63.75. We closed below or outside of this sort of consolidative pattern, and we tried to look for opportunities to see if price would come down to the 0 spot 6100. Didn't quite get that. Price made its way towards the 200 moving average. We then had quite an aggressive move back to the upside, but price once again kind of hit the what was support from the consolidation, hit it as resistance, and has reversed since then. So maybe the 0 spot 61 is still on the cards here. Thank you for watching this video update. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you did, leave this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel to see some more Forex trading content, and I'll speak to you very soon.